This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Ben Settle, super practical.
I'm not telling people to have a mistress. I'm teaching you, learn the lesson from the people who have a mistress, because there's many business lessons that apply.
Pious.
There's a part in the book of Revelation where Jesus says, I want you either hot or cold. I'm spewing lukewarm churches out. I think it's a good way to look at your list.
Romantic to his very core.
Once in a while, I'll give my girl a present, like a Snickers bar or something.
And totes tender.
If someone asks you to walk on eggshells, smash the eggshells and let the chips fall wherever they may.
Adored by feminists everywhere.
It takes a strong woman to admit when she's wrong.
Not a judgmental bone in his entire body.
I look at all the free information people give just on Facebook and I go, what a bunch of time hose.
Has a PhD in armchair philosophy.
In the land of dumbasses, the smartass is king.
You'll never meet a more sensitive guy.
If you really care about people, you shame the hell out of them. This is Ben Settle of the bensettle.com podcast, streamed not live. Some would say streamed dead, depending on how you ask, from my small drinking town with a big fishing problem, town I live in. And Jonathan's coming at you from the opposite side of the country.
Yeah.
Almost, exact opposite side. And were you kissing me? Is that where you're from?
Please. Don't say that to me.
That's what shows up. That's what shows up on the caller ID. Oh, you're in Orlando. Okay, that's right. Because we hung out in Orlando a couple times. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so nobody, let's face it, nobody gives a crap about what we just talked about. So I'll move on to some stuff they might care about. And that is the most dangerous number in business, and something I learned from the great Dan Kennedy. He talks about 1 being the most dangerous number in business. And it's very true. Relying on one of any type of thing, it will just makes you very vulnerable. Let's put it that way. Extremely vulnerable. And vulnerable to competition, to going out of business altogether, or just having your life completely thrown upside down in your business. 1 is the worst. And so I want to cover some ways where, and I'm guilty of a couple of these myself, Jonathan, what I'm about to say. So this is not me lecturing. This is me sharing information, sharing knowledge with people.
You're dishing.
All right? Freely, which means no one's going to apply anything I say here, let's face it. But it doesn't stop me from doing it anyway. At least I feel safe and secure in the fact that I tried. All right? And tried to help the little people. And not by little people, I'm not talking about dwarves. I'm talking about like little people, the people I look down on in my audience from my pedestal. All right?
Too good.
that I've erected for myself. All right. So the first one that you never want to rely on one of, and I put this first for a reason, because it's in a lot of ways, if you're selling online, this is the biggie. And that is relying on one merchant account. And Jonathan, I went years. I first, it never really occurred to me until I talked to Doberman Dan about this, way back in 2011, a few months after I had launched Email Players. And he was telling me, his story about when he was selling supplements, and he had a $1 million supplement company at the time. And he said that one day he woke up, and he had a great, by the way, he didn't get a lot of chargebacks or anything. His marketing was clean. Everything was good. He did nothing wrong. He had a great track record with the bank. And one day he woke up and he had all these failed orders. All these declined orders. And he's like, what the hell's going on? And it turns out, because they didn't even tell him, but his merchant account shut him down because someone decided out of the blue he was a, quote, a high-risk business.
Yeah.
Probably because he's selling supplements on continuity. Yeah. But he said he had a backup merchant account. So he plugged that, that's easy to change these around, to change your merchant account around if you have multiple ones. And for me, I just go into my gateway site, and I literally just tick a box and I can get rid of or add whatever. So he had a backup merchant account. And then a week or two later, he said they shut him down too, out of the blue, declined orders out of the blue. There must have been something going on in the industry, I'm guessing, with supplements probably. And by the way, people listening to this who think, well, I'm safe. I sell ebooks. You're not safe. Okay. They could do the same thing, especially if you're selling anything, make money in anything. They could declare you high risk. They could declare me high risk at any time. And but that's what happened to him. And then he said, luckily, he had a backup of his backup, and he turned that on, and that was all. It was fine. Now he would have been out of business. He'd not have those 2 backups. I think we can all safely agree on that.
Yeah.
And I went many years. I didn't really get my head out of my butt until this last year, 2017.
Really?
Where I finally got I just never got around to getting a second one until then.
Damn.
And I did. I know. I'm not very proud of that fact. But I went 6 years, always wondering if I'm going to get shut down, especially when I have like sales spikes and all this. Like when I launched Copy Slacker and I did like, I don't know, I had like $100,000 weekend or something. I was like, holy crap. But I kind of did. But with that one, I actually did I had PayPal. So people were using PayPal and my merchant account at the same time. So it wasn't too bad. It kind of was divided amongst two. But, that'll freak you out, right? Like, this is why I tell people. You should, before you do a launch, call your merchant account or accounts, even if it's PayPal, and let them know. Worst case is you don't have that good of a launch, fine. But what if you have a great one and they just shut you down and start holding money and stuff? You don't want that. So the solution is, and this is something that I had heard at a mastermind I went to. I don't do a lot of masterminds, but this one I go to, my friend Trevor Mox, Amplify Mastermind. One of the guys there, who sells like biz ops stuff, so they're really at risk. He's like, you can never have too many merchant accounts. I think they have 10 merchant accounts.
Wow.
Or something like that. Yeah, and I thought, crap, I'm going to at least have 5. So I just got my 3rd one at the time of this recording. I've just gotten my 3rd one. By the time this recording comes out, I should already have my 4th and maybe even 5th one. And I'm not just going to let people hang here. There's 2 people I recommend you go to. One, I get an affiliate commission with, the other I don't. But he helped me out. He's an email player subscriber, and he's great. His name is Steve Gray, and I've known him for a few years now. Great guy, really brilliant, like marketer, brilliant traffic guy. He used to come to he was like the unofficial 5th person of our Oceans 4 masterminds when he did it. He was always there. I don't know if you met him or not, John.
No, I don't
but he's
think
there.
so.
But he set me up. If you want his contact information, just send me an email, ben@bensettle.com. I will hook you up. He's a great guy. I'm using his services, so all good. And in fact, the bank that he hooked me up with, there was some kind of and this story I'm going to tell you kind of goes to why you should have multiple merchant accounts. Something happened. I don't know what it was that I asked them to tell Keith. Keith probably knows. It's all jargon to me. Keith Commons, my web guy, because he sets all this up for me. Something happened for like 2 months where American Express and that particular merchant account were not playing nice together. I don't know what the glitch was. Whatever it was, I thought it would just work itself out. Usually these things just work themselves out. They just do. But in this case, they didn't. I lost probably several sales because I didn't really think about something. I mean, they fixed it. They figured it out finally. It wasn't even the merchant account. It had something to do with my gateway and that merchant account. But it was on the gateway side, so it wasn't even the merchant account's fault. But I was getting all these declined American Express cards from email players, which was really kind of maddening. It was really frustrating. Not just for me, but for people, because we're like, I just called American Express. They said everything's fine. It should be working. Well, all I had to do, Jonathan, because I had 2 merchant accounts at the time, was turn off that merchant account until they fixed it. And then they all would have went through my first merchant account and they would have been just fine. I didn't think about it. I told you, I guess that might be the second mistake I made last year, actually, now that I think about it. I think I only made 2. I don't know. You've been counting.
I keep a tab.
You've been keeping tabs on them, all my mistakes, but that was definitely one of them. So if you have multiple merchant accounts and something like that happens, you can just turn that one off until they figure out what the problem is, and then you won't miss a beat. So that's a little. So Steve Gray. Anyway, so if you want to contact him, just let me know. Ben@bensettle.com. I will put you in touch with them. The other one, and this one I do get paid on. You don't pay any more in rates. Actually, you'll pay a lot less in rates going through this one. I'm going to tell you, is I'm an affiliate for Glenn Livingston because him and his business partner, David Oliver, they have a service now where they will find you the ideal merchant account for you that knows your business, that likes, that they're going to like what you're doing. It's not going to be like what's this email stuff or what's this internet marketing stuff? Like they already know. And they get like the rates I paid through this particular merchant account. I just got it set up as the time of this recording. I would, if I only used them, I would say like $1,000 or $2,000 a month in fees. Like that's how low they can get the fees. So it's very important. But they also make it was also the most painless one I've ever had to set up. Like it was the easiest one of all to set up. They didn't ask me to send like every financial statement going back 3 months and all this stuff. I mean, there was some of that, but most of it was really simple. I didn't have to like photocopy my driver's license and all this other stuff. Some of these banks are more like that than others, and they're doing what they have to do. I don't blame them. But if you go through this one, you go to emailplayers.com/merchant, emailplayers.com/merchant. And Jonathan, to further plug this, again,
there's more.
Again, you don't pay any more. I'll tell you what, I'm going to reiterate something too. You don't pay more in fees by going through this just because I'm an affiliate. You don't. In fact, the merchant account takes care that, like, it's just worked in. You don't pay anything more or less if you go through this or not. So don't think, oh, Ben's getting a commission. I'm paying. No, you're not. You're not paying anymore. You'll be paying a lot less rates probably. And even if you already have a merchant account, this is a good second one. If you don't have a merchant account and you're relying on PayPal or whatever, this would be a good first one to get. But if you go through Glenn and what they're doing, and they even like help with chargeback support and that kind of stuff, which is like unheard of as far as I know. If you go to emailplayers.com/merchant, and if you get a merchant account through them, and if you send me your first statement, okay, so this means you have a business up online selling with that merchant account. That's why I'm saying you got to wait, send me your statement. I will give you a copy of my Email Players Lifestyle product, which, it shows you how to basically take your business, whatever your business is, and fit it into the business structure I run my business. It's not really the same as like my 10-minute workday thing. This is for people who already have a business, already have a list, already have offers, but you're working like 20 hours a day and you're running around like a chicken with no head. This helps you get it down to, working a fraction of that time and with your existing business. And it may or may not be as short of a day as I have. It may just be a 2 or 3 hour workday, but that's okay. I think a lot of people would like that. So again, emailplayers.com/merchant, and that's my affiliate link. You go through, you get Glenn's thing through them. Send me your first statement after you're in, and I will give you that product, which, is, a good $200-300 product. I'm not sure what I'm going to price it at yet, but it's up there. So that's the first one, Jonathan. I spent a lot of time on that because I think that's the most important thing to know, not relying on one thing applies to as far as selling online, which is what most people who listen to this do.
Yeah.
All right. So another thing, and this is one that I'm in danger of, is relying on one vendor that you like. So there may be, for example, I rely on one printer right now.
Yeah.
SelbyMarketing.com. That's the only people I use. I have no need, I don't want to use anyone else. I've gone through other ones, but the reality is I should have a backup in case, because who knows? I can't control what happens in their business. I mean, God forbid something happens and maybe Rich Selby just gets so rich he just quits, retires. I'm kind of screwed at that point. So I should have, and everyone should have at least some kind of. Now I have some companies in mind I would probably go to, but I haven't researched them well, so that's why I don't want to name any of them. But again, I'm in danger of one vendor. What if they decided to what if Rich Selby just said, I'm tired of you, Ben. I don't want to service you anymore.
Nah, what?
I'm firing you as a client.
They told me that they built a new warehouse just on what they're making from you.
Did they really? Are you joshing me?
I'm just fucking with you.
You wouldn't lie to me about something like that, would you? No, but you know what he did tell me today? This is ironic. He just told me this today. And, I'm recording this in December, so not to ruin the time for him. But he just told me this today because I'm trying to get email player hats made. That'll say email player like cats, right?
Nice.
And he ended up having some surgery or something recently, so I hadn't heard from him in a few weeks, and I was just checking up. And he's like, I'm sorry, I dropped the ball and I was having surgery. And I said, look, that's no excuse. That is not an excuse. Surgery. I don't want to hear this shit. I'm pulling out. No. So he says, I'm pulling my whole operation out. But he said, but he gave me this little compliment. He goes, Ben, you're like one of my best customers. I wish I had 10 customers like you. I said, that makes me feel warm and fuzzy this Christmas. Oh. That made the Grinch's heart grow a size bigger. Okay. So coming from a guy like him, he's one of my favorite people. And but again, I'm in danger. Like he could fire me as a client someday. So I'd like to have a backup waiting in the wings, not necessarily use them, but have it waiting in the wings. Otherwise, email players would be down for a month or two if that happens. And I don't want that. So that's something to think about. So one vendor, even relying on one vendor can be dangerous. Relying on one income stream is certainly dangerous. I don't know about you, Jonathan, but I've been working pretty hard the last few years to have little different income streams coming in so that if one goes down, it's not like the end of the world. And even if my main one went down, I'd still have enough to get by on.
Yeah.
So that's Kindle books. And I made that deal with AWAI with the 10-minute workday. I mean, that's a whole other thing. They take care of that. They just license it for me, basically. It's the easiest. I love that. I want to do more stuff like that, actually. So that's the way. And this thing I'm doing with, promoting Glenn Livingston. That's one of those things where, people, once you get a merchant account and I'm getting paid based on, how much fees are running through that merchant account every month, it's just a little annuity. It's not necessarily huge, but it could be enough to live on if I had to. If I really wanted to downgrade my lavish lifestyle in Bandon, Oregon, I could do it. relying on one media. And this is another one I'm kind of I'm in danger of, Jonathan. This is why I've been putting different media out there. Remember we did that show about using different media?
Yeah.
Building lists, direct mail lists, Snapchat, whatever, social media following, or YouTube following, all that. It's because I rely way too much on email. If something happened with email and I don't know what would happen anytime soon, but if something did, I don't want to be screwed. So I've been building my direct mail list. I've been sending more direct mail offers out. As email player subscribers know, I took the catalog out basically.
Yeah.
And now I'm sending like single, because really this is the way to sell. I was breaking my own rule of finally being a direct response purist by trying to sell too many things at once when I want to just have one offer that they can look at. And it's night and day difference, by the way.
I bet.
The sales I would get, it's night and day. The stuff what I was doing before, sending a catalog and maybe a 1 or 2 page insert about a specific back issue, pales in comparison when I just did an experiment 1 month where I said, I'm going to sell the Agora tapes and that's it. And actually, I even screwed that up a little bit because I still included the catalog. But the sales are so much higher when I did that. When I put a full sales letter in with that. I don't know if anyone can use that information listening to this because a lot of people are too lazy to use print physical products.
Too cheap.
But so be it. Too cheap when it's actually easier and less stressful, way less stressful. As we found out with the membership site, I don't want to deal with that. I Selby, Michelle, God bless her soul at Selby Marketing. I mean, all you need is someone like her. You don't need a team of technicians to keep a website going.
Right.
So that's another thing. So, one media, it's just, you shouldn't just relying on email. That's why I've been putting people on other lists. Relying on one web hosting company. Now I use Black Knight because that's what Keith likes to work with and all that, but I still have my HostGator account waiting in the wings in case I need it. Like, to me, it's just peace of mind. If I ever needed to move everything over, I could just do it, and so be it. One company you get your domains from. Now, I make a mistake with this one. I'm making all kinds of mistakes.
No
This
kidding.
2018 is like the year of mistakes for me. But one company, like if you get all your domains from one company like I do just to keep it simple, you're kind of at risk. Now, I do keep two of my main domains at a different company, but so I do have that going for me a little bit. But just that, domains, sometimes your domain name will go down or something because you're with a crap company or something. Easy if you're already set up with another one, it's usually easy to just move it over, I think, from what I understand. And then finally, and there's way more ones we could talk about, but I'm getting tired of talking about this subject, Jonathan, and my needs must come before everyone else's.
That's right.
This last one is one distribution channel. So, I've got for me, I've got my email players and all that, and then I distribute that myself. But I also have a lot of books on Amazon Kindle. 10-minute workday through AWAI. I have this golfing business I'm in now, my other business. These are different distribution channels in the sense that I'm not just relying on one thing. So that's something else to think about. So that's all I got today, Jonathan. I don't want to keep going on this, but I will leave everyone with this. Next week will be another Email Players Rules episode. And I am putting together an Email Players Rules book, the first 140 email players, the transcripts of those shows. And they'll be on Kindle eventually for anyone who wants to know about that. And that's all I got, Jonathan. That is all I got for this week.
All right. That's a wrap for another bensettle.com podcast. We'll be back with you next time.
You've been listening to the bensettle.com podcast. To download yourself a free issue of Ben's prestigious $97 per month Email Players newsletter, which is going to show you 24 ways to write emails people eagerly read, click, and buy from, head on over to www.bensettle.com. Well, off you go. You know it makes sense.
This is the podcastfactory.com.